Aloha pumehana kako. My name is Ciara Lacy, and I am wearing turtle shell glasses, a black T-shirt that says 1893 on it in upside down letters or numbers, I should say, and I have straight brown hair and freckles. Um, I directed a film called This Is the Way We Rise that will be playing at the 2021 Sundance Film Festival. And I am calling to you or zooming into you from Honolulu, Hawaii, the land of my people, the Kanaka Maoli. Mahalo.
Hi, I'm Christopher Makoto Yogi. I am a Japanese Okinawan cis male. I am sitting in I have long black pandemic hair up in a bun, wearing a white shirt that says Pure Moods, some glasses. I'm sitting in my white walled bedroom in front of some white blinds. I'm the writer and director of the feature film I Was a Simple Man, which is playing in the US Dramatic Competition of 2021 Sundance. And I'm zooming from Los Angeles, California, the ancestral and unceded lands of the Tongva, Chumash, and Kits people. Hi, Kiara. Good to see you.
Hi, Chris. First question. I actually think we met at the first time we ever met, even though we're both from Hawaii. The first time we met was at Sundance. And you actually were probably sick for most of it. Anyway, what was one word to describe your first visit to Sundance and why?
Yeah, sick. That's the word I would describe. That actually wasn't my first time at Sundance. Actually, the first time at Sundance, I went and I didn't see any movies, or I might have seen one movie, but I remember just trying to get into movies and not being able to see anything. But the Sundance that we met at, yeah, I was just deathly sick. I had just come from the Sundance lab, so I'd spent a week at the resort. It was cold, and I think just like adrenaline, just not sleeping, not eating well, probably no sleep. It's just I got so sick. I like had to give away my tickets. I remember, and I think my partner Sarah met you first at like a party or something, and like we just knew each other by name, but actually didn't. I don't even think we met in person.
I think
Right?
I met Sarah at the A3 party.
Oh really? Cool.
And I bet both of you, and then I didn't know that you guys were very good friends. She was like, I'm the producer and this is the director. And I was like, oh, nice to meet you, producer and director.
Yeah, that was, I was in our hotel room and I remember I was sitting in a bath for like one whole day just trying to get better. It was bad. Anyway, yeah. And then I get sick at every Sundance. So this is very nice that we get to go to Sundance and I don't get sick this time. I'll probably still get sick. I'll just be at home and I'll still get sick somehow.
There's always a silver lining. Hopefully you won't this time.
All right. My question to you is, when did you know you wanted to be a filmmaker? Yeah, that's a great question. When did you want to know? When did you know?
I think I was in denial of wanting to be a filmmaker for a long time. I think when I was in college, I had a huge music video obsession. I still have a music video obsession. I would like to make music videos. I have never made a music video. So if anyone out there needs someone to make a music video, call me. And that was sort of like the thing I wanted to do. I ended up producing for a music video director. And that was like the closest thing I could come. He was amazing and just like the kindest soul. His name was Sam Erickson, and really gave me a lot of opportunities to learn. But, you know, I think I secretly also one day wanted to do what he was doing. So maybe I'll get to. I don't know.
Yeah, I would love to see a music video directed by you. I like music videos too.
I love
like
them.
that's like, yeah, that's like my thing. Like when I'm at night and I'm bored, I just watch YouTube music videos.
Right? I do it all the time. Okay, so we're both from Hawaii, and I grew up in Mililani. Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Hawaii Kai. I grew up in Palolo until I was like, I want to say like 7 or something, and then we moved to Hawaii Kai, and I grew up there till I was in high school.
Okay. So, oh, Palolo. I used to walk there every day. What were you like as a kid?
As a kid, I was let's see, I was pretty outgoing. I liked attention, I think. Pretty creative. Like I liked writing and drawing. I would put on little plays for my family. I would choreograph dances and make my sister dance. Um, she would choreograph and make me dance. She's now a great dancer, so that's pretty awesome. But yeah, we just like I think we were just like outgoing, energetic kids. Yeah. And then I became at some point became awkward and introverted. I don't know. I don't know when that happened. Yeah. So that was me. Um, my question is now. Oh, interesting. What was your favorite subject in elementary school? Elementary school. Did we have subjects in elementary school?
Yeah, like
I guess we
math
had
and
like
reading. It
things.
was very different. Um, I'll be honest, I probably liked them all. I just like
Mhm.
my husband will attest to this. I just never stopped talking. And when I was a little kid, I just talked all the time. I really love to talk and I really like to go to school. And I would wake up before the alarm clock. I was a really like I was that kid. If the alarm was for 7, I'd be up by 6:30 and I would literally bounce out of my bed and be ready for the day. My poor mother. I was extra. Um, yeah, I was an extra kid. I probably did a lot of the same things you did actually in elementary school. I used to like tell stories and stuff, but I wanted to be a chemist because I thought scientists were cool. um
Mm.
and I failed. I was good at chemistry, but I didn't end up doing that. So um next
What
question.
elementary school did you go to?
Oh, I went to Kipapa Elementary in Minilani, so I'm a Kipapa Cougar where our colors were brown and gold.
Cool.
um okay, so my mom drove my auntie to your set of I Was a Simple Man. And we have talked about the film for a long time. Um, but it's been so long. Tell me about what your film I Was a Simple Man that's showing at Sundance is this year. What has it turned into? Because when we first talked about that film, that was one thing, right? And what the final film is always like, it's a little oftentimes a slightly different creature. So tell me about I Was a Simple Man.
Yeah, it's interesting just because I've been carrying the movie for such a long time. And yeah, you're right. It changes like over the years, like things have subtly shifted. The core of the film remains the same, but as I change as a person, what I'm interested in exploring in filmmaking. But I mean, at its core, it was always a story about an old man on his deathbed and him grappling with his life. And it was inspired by my experience of watching people in my family pass away, and the feeling that I got having being in the room and sort of being a witness to someone passing over. Um, and for me, it was like just like that feeling of being in the room. Um, like I remember my grandpa talking to people who weren't there. Like just his mind was just like untethered from time, and I just remember that I was terrified, and yet I found it beautiful. And now in retrospect, I'm very grateful almost to have. It's a very profound thing to witness. And so I think the kernel of the idea was always to just capture that feeling of being in the room with someone who's passing on. um, and so even though the story changed, even though like little details of how the characters present themselves change, um, that core feeling that I want to communicate is still the one thing that really drove me to make the movie.
Awesome.
Yeah. What what do you find is your favorite part of filmmaking?
Oh man. I often feel okay, I don't know, maybe you tell me if you agree with this. Like sometimes I feel like I'm a glutton for punishment. It's like every day is like a different day. So you feel like you won the world and then you lost and then you won the world and you lost again. And I find like it's just this like hopefully slow trajectory up. So I feel like at every stage there's like a little bit of like a question mark, like, okay, you just got to get over this hump and then you just got to get over that hump. So gosh, I feel like there's ups and downs to every piece of it. You know what? I'll say this, as a documentary filmmaker, my favorite thing about the process is when I walk away from an interview and I feel like I have connected with a human in a way that I might not connect with them in normal life, and I got something out of that experience. Like there is something beautiful about that moment. That's what I live for. Yeah. Sorry, it took me a second.
No, that's amazing.
It's powerful, man.
Yeah.
Like, we don't always get a
Yeah.
chance to connect with people in everyday life like that. It changes me. So anyway, back to your film. I Was a Simple Man. You cast my auntie Akiko Masuda in your last two films. In your previous film, August at Akiko's, which premiered at Rotterdam, is that right?
Yeah.
And then and now my auntie Akiko, who's my godmother, was cast in I Was a Simple Man. What's it like working with my auntie?
What's it like working with her? It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the question kind of relates a lot to your last answer. Like there's something about whether it's working in a documentary form or a fiction form, like for me the most important thing is really the spirit of making the thing, and like the experience of making the thing, like what the memories you have, like what you've learned from the process. And working with Akiko on Akiko's, I just felt like I grew so much, not only as a filmmaker, but as like a human being. And I think everybody on that crew felt that way. I know that Alex for sure, like walked away from that experience, like just he felt like a different person. And so Akiko's spirit just has that effect. And I'm just grateful that she says yes when I ask her to be in things, because like, to be honest, like it's just great to have her around. I mean, she's also a great performer. I mean, her history is like, she's been performing all her life. She was a dancer in a previous incarnation, and like, so she's a performer.
That's how she met my mom. She and my mom met because they both danced together.
It's amazing.
So crazy.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, and she's a great storyteller, and so just she has that performing knack, or just it's in her. But then also on top of that, to be able to just hang out with Akiko and talk to her and ask her questions about life, even throughout post, like when we were really struggling with the film, just like shooting her an email and just like hearing her like just give us like sort of just some kind of words of wisdom helped get through a lot of the process. So yeah, she's incredible. But yeah, that capturing that spirit and really having her imbue that spirit into the work is something I'm really grateful for. It's very generous of her to be able to do that. Yeah.
Everyone watch August at Akiko's as well. Watch all of Chris Yogi's films. And you can, and also my film, This Is the Way We Rise, I stayed at Akiko's house when we were shooting it, because I was on another island. So another plug for Akiko's Buddhist Bed and Breakfast.
Yeah, it's a pretty magical place. I gotta go back. Speaking of This Is the Way We Rise, it's an amazing film. Tell us about the film. How does it feel to be playing this film at Sundance?
Wow. First, here's a screenshot. That's a shot from the film. This is shot by Chapin Hall. So this is the Malu of the Mauna. This is the Malu of Mauna Kea, which means it's the shadow of Mauna Kea. And then this is just some landscape in the area of Mauna Kea. the film itself, This Is the Way We Rise, was originally intended to be a piece about the artist's process, the process of creating your work. And it was commissioned work in partnership between WNET, American Masters, and Firelight Media in New York. And the goal of what they were hoping to do is to commission a series of short films that were helmed by BIPOC artists about BIPOC artists on the rise in their careers. And so I had originally pitched this idea of making a film about Dr. Jamaica Heoli Melikalani Osorio, who is an artist, an activist, and a slam poet, and just talking about, you know, what it means to be a Native Hawaiian, a Kanaka Maoli, and that identity and how that impacts your creative process. And I'm actually more of a verite documentary filmmaker. And so, you know, I was really excited to make this film that I thought was going to have a whole plan. And it was going to be like, you know, I wrote out a schedule and we're going to do this, this, and this. Cause usually when you're shooting verite, I'm like, okay, whatever you're doing, I'm going to do. Like it's a very different process. And I was like, okay, time to challenge yourself, do something different. And I was all stoked to have a schedule and a plan. And then 2 days before we were supposed to get shooting, I got a call from Jamaica, and she said, "I'm sorry, I can't shoot with you. I have to go to Mauna Kea to add myself to the collection of people fighting for the protection of the Mauna." Mauna Kea has been part of a ongoing conversation, to say that mildly, about management of sacred sites for Native Hawaiians. And at the top of Mauna Kea is a collection of telescopes. And the telescopes have been historically managed by the University of Hawaii and the state. And Hawaiians have not always been happy about that process. And there is the potential to build sort of the Walmart supersized version of a telescope on top of the mountain. And so for Hawaiians to add another one on top of these sacred sites after years of asking stop, 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 and not feeling like the resources there had been properly managed, it was kind of a breaking point for the community. And so when Jamaica said she was going to go to the Mauna, I was like, I kind of paused and I was like, okay, we'll see you there. So, you know, I didn't know how or what we're going to do, but we bought tickets, and I called my lawyer and I said, we might be, my lawyer, Bo Bassett, I was like, okay, we might, you know, we're going up to this protest. I don't know what's going to happen. Can I call you? And we just showed up. And I will say it was, you know, the course of filming, like working on this film, not only did I see Jamaica's creative process and the resurgence of her voice as an artist, but also probably the most powerful outpouring of support for and by the Hawaiian community I've seen in my life. And I was not expecting that. So long story short, This Is the Way We Rise is a film that, you know, happened because a lot of people contributed to it. Other filmmakers, Mikey Inoue, Pake Salmon, there's just a huge list and people who contributed their work to make all of this possible. And yeah, I'm grateful to have it at Sundance. And that's sort of a rough idea about what the film is about. Let's change the topic. I've talked enough.
No, it's like, I just want to add that it's like, I didn't know that story, that it was a last minute pivot. That's incredible. I mean, it's such a beautiful film, and it does both. Like it not only is a beautiful portrait of Jamaica, but like it also gives you, like, it uses the Mauna as a way to talk about broader context in a way that's so powerful. And I will say that you did such a beautiful thing of capturing the like what it must have felt like to be there. Like even you just describing it, I got chicken skin, you know, like just what it, like the power of that community. It like translates so amazingly through the film. I mean, I love it. I hope everybody goes to go see it.
Ooh, good question. Ready? What is one of your favorite films?
What's one of my favorite films? That's a hard question. Like that's.
Or do you have a favorite genre of film, like films that you like to watch?
I don't know. I haven't, you know, I don't know. It's weird. Like I haven't been watching a lot of movies recently, for whatever reason. Maybe, you know, like just throughout the pandemic. I've been watching a lot of short films. Short films have been like short experimental work has been really like sustaining me. But all time, I usually say it's Ozu's Late Spring, which is just a for me like just a powerful family story that makes me cry every single time I watch it. But it changes from you know year to year. Yeah. Okay. So now
Oh no, you're gonna ask me the same question.
I'm putting you on the spot. What is one of your favorite films?
Oh man, what is one? Okay, um, Rushmore with Jason Schwartzman. It's a really simple movie. I don't know, I love it. It's like, it's super sweet. I also like a lot of, I like a lot of sci-fi. It's actually one of my favorite things to watch. It doesn't matter how bad it is. I will watch all of it. I watch all of it. And I don't know why, but 12 Monkeys is popping into my head.
Oh, cool.
So
I've been wanting to rewatch that.
when it came out, when 12 Monkeys came out, I probably watched it like more times in the theater than I should probably admit.
Really?
Yes. Yes. I
Wow.
don't know why. There's something about like apocalypse that really like strikes at like the angry teenager in me and gets me really excited. Like I watch all that stuff. And angry teenager shows definitely still feel that on the inside. Okay. Chris Yogi, I have a surprise question for you. What's it like knowing that you could have a baby and a movie come out at the same time? For everyone out there in this world, Chris Yogi is gonna have a baby and a movie all within the span of the same weeks. Go for it.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's so obviously unplanned. We had planned to finish the movie early last year, last spring, but COVID changed those plans. And so it was never, I don't know, it's the weirdest thing because I had been, like I said earlier, I had been carrying the movie within myself for so long, um, to the point where it's almost like creatively I'm kind of like at a point where after this it's like I don't actually know what's next. I don't like I have ideas, I have things I want to explore, I have things I want to play around with, but I have no clue. Whereas like these past 10 years it was like I'm trying to get this movie made, I'm trying to get this movie made.
Yeah.
And so now it's like it's interesting. It's like now the project is the kid, right? It's like suddenly like now I have something like or like this is what I'm supposed to be focusing on, I think. So I think that's like life's interesting way of I don't know, giving me yeah, like it's our next project, I guess. And that's like a really corny, cheesy way to put it, but it feels that way in a weird way. Because otherwise I would just be sitting around doing nothing, playing video games or something. So
All big
uh,
things for you.
yeah. Now I have a freebie question, and I don't have a good question because I didn't plan well enough. Um, but let me just try and let me just try and freestyle for a sec. Um, um, I wanna ask a filmmaking question. I think,
Okay.
um, like like what like like long term. If you're thinking, I think because I was just talking about like I don't know what the next steps are or whatever. Like if you were thinking like long term, like what are your grand like goals in cinema, grand goals in documentary fiction? You said you want to make music videos. Like what is it that like you want to do in the filmmaking space if you could like lay it out?
Definitely if I'm thinking like, step by step, I'd love to make a music video. I'd love to make a bunch of them. I'd love to just like rip through a ton. I after doing a verite, my first one, a verite documentary that took me like, 5-6 years. And then, we both know what it takes. Like it just takes time sometimes to get your first project done. And then even with This Is the Way We Rise, that was over a year long for, 8 minutes, 12 minutes, whatever. Like it still takes like a long amount of time. Good work sometimes takes longer and sometimes it's faster. You just never know. I think I secretly would like to go back to writing, and I'd like to I'd like to direct my first narrative. I never thought I would be doing documentary. I actually, when I was still in New York, I had the identity of a writer. I wanted to be a writer. So, and it's something I want to go back to. And then you're just kind of nervous. You're like, can you do it? It's been so long. Like I have a boneyard of final draft films, like projects that I started and didn't finish. And it's like, okay, time, you got this far. Like now it's time to really push for the stuff that you wanted, you know? And I kind of want to do that. So we'll see.
That's amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to see what the writing comes up with. That's really exciting to hear.
I will say this, it's going to be very different from my documentary work, I think. I think there's still going to be some similar sentiments, but I'm excited to give it a try. I think if you saw my work and then you met me, you might not know that I'm the one that made it. Because a lot of my work ends up being like pretty serious, and it's not to say that inside me I'm not serious, but I don't know. I think it'd be fun to kind of try a lighter side or a funner side or weird, much more weird.
Amazing. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. That sounds great.
Let's get weird. Let's
go,
get weird.
Go in any direction, man. Like whatever, like don't let like the ideas of what other people think or box you in, you know? Like I'm always trying to tell myself that like it's like the goal I think for me is to like just be able to make whatever, like just to be purely creative. So, like if I can like figure out how to just be creative all the time, then that's the goal. Then
one of the things I love about your work, having to everyone out there, I have a crush on Chris Yogi's work and Sarah's work, their collaborations, is that like you have a sense of identity. Like I feel like I see a film and I'm like, oh, this is Chris, right? And I feel like every artist should have the liberty to explore and be whatever they, explore whatever art they want and how. But there's also something super tasty about watching something and being like, oh yeah, this feels like Chris Yogi, And I feel like I feel you in the work. And this kind of brings up the next question, because we're both from Hawaii, right? And I was going to ask, how does the idea of growing up in Hawaii inform your work as a filmmaker? And it's, subject matter, a lot of your work is about home, right? Like,
yeah, subject matter wise, definitely. Yeah, it's interesting.
It's more than that. I think it's more than that.
I haven't, other than the content of the stories, I haven't thought much about it, but I feel like I'm always trying to, especially in the films that are set at home, I want it to just feel like home. Like that's all. Like I'm just trying to like capture some feeling, and it's it's very personal. I think like it's it's based on my upbringing, based on my experiences, growing up in Honolulu, like being raised by my parents, being raised by my grandparents, like being in those spaces and how they raised me, and just little snatches of details and memories that are constantly just lodged within me, and really just trying to just capture that in some way, or just feel that. I feel like when I first started making films, I didn't recognize the Hawaii that was on screen. Like it didn't like it I mean, I recognized it, like the places. I'd be like, oh, that's Makapu, or oh, that's Diamond Head. So I recognized it like on a superficial level, but then I was like, but this doesn't feel like my experience. It doesn't mean it's not true, obviously. Like it might be true to that filmmaker's experience, whatever. But I just think I wanted to just add my personal, like, emotional feeling to the conversation.
I think, well, what's fun for me when I watch your work is, well, no, when I see your work, I think, oh yeah, that to me, having been in those spaces or knowing some of those spaces, like part of what I love is, yeah, that feels right. Like I see that and I feel like home, and
That's cool.
And for, I think for any viewer, like there's a universality in that, right? Like that sense of home is something I think we all long or fight with, or have, there's some relationship, and a very powerful one, whether or not you're happy or not with your, where you come from, but there's a power to that. And so being able to connect with your sense of home it's really powerful.
Thank you for saying that. I mean, that it makes me it honestly makes me nervous when this film screen at home, because that's the audience that can they call me out like if it doesn't feel right, like, and they should, by the way. Like, I encourage people to call me out if it doesn't feel right, because everyone's idea of home is personal. But it's always nice to hear from from another person who's born and raised in Hawaii too, that it resonates on some level with them, because that's sort of the goal. So now it's interesting. So now, speaking of just Hawaiian Values, with your two films, your new film that's playing at Sundance, This Is the Way We Rise, and then also your feature film Out of State, you're sharing Hawaiian values with the world. And what part of that, what does that mean to you? Or is that a part of what you're trying to do? How much do you think of that, being yourself, kanaka mo'oli, when you're making the work, when you're screening the work? Is that something you think about, or?
Super interesting. It's funny, I actually wore this shirt because I know we own the same shirt.
Yeah, I have that shirt.
You own this shirt too, right? Yeah. My 1893 like overthrow shirt, like me and Chris Yogi both have it, and I think I wear this shirt because to me it's like, that connection to justice, to like to my community is always something that is like important, it's always powerful. How much do the values mean for me and how they inform the work? I think it's like hard. It's just who I am and how I was raised, and like it's hard to separate all of it. It doesn't feel like, when you're doing it, doesn't feel exceptional, it just feels like this is me, this is us. I think there's often a lot of we thinking in the work too that might be a little bit different, like even in the process. Like when I make films, it's for me it's very like we oriented, like because the film itself is never about me. It's about me in some way, but it's never my face. It's like somebody, having done documentaries specifically, like it's always somebody else's face on screen. And obviously like there's the curation that I as like director do, but my goal is always to chip away so that we feel like we're connecting with that person. So the ownership of the work is really different. And something in This Is the Way We Rise, this is getting a little more esoteric, but in This Is the Way We Rise, at the end of the film, sorry guys, I hope I don't give it away too much, but as Hawaiians, we say, like, if a work is about someone or something, then the ownership of that work belongs to who it's dedicated to. So if I write a song about Chris Yogi, the song belongs to Chris, it doesn't belong to me. And that's like a difference in copyright, right? And the world perspective. Like, so I make a film about Jamaica Osorio and Mauna Kea. It's not my film, it's their film. I make a film called Out of State about Native Hawaiian men in the prison system in the US, and it's not about me, it's their film, and it's for our community. So the ownership of the work is different. So there's almost like there's a relief and a burden all at the same time, because as a Hawaiian, that means that the work is owned by those people. Hold on one second. Chris, you cannot wash the dishes. What? I'm in an interview for Sundance. But the work itself belongs to the community, and so it's a little bit of a relief, and it's different. And at the same time, there's the pressure for the community as well. There's a good next question. Are you ready for it?
Yeah.
So my mom and my dad went to the set of I Was a Simple Man when they dropped off Akiko. And all my mom and dad could do was talk about what food was in your crafty table. And I know that they came home and they're like, Chris had this and this to eat, and there was this food, and they had like a potluck after. So the question, what's your comfort food to get you through the day when you're in production?
That's funny. Do you remember what foods they said? Because I don't eat, like, I don't remember what we were
I knew
eating.
you probably, my guess is you don't eat when you're working.
Well, I do, but it's not even like I'm not even thinking, it's like just like raw, like I'm not even looking at what I'm eating. I'm just like, so I don't even remember what we ate.
My mom made 2 loaves of mango bread to bring to your
Oh
set.
yeah, I ate that. Yeah,
And then
yeah.
she brought bananas from our backyard. But
Oh,
then
cool.
I'm trying, because I think you guys had a potluck after that. So
Yeah, I think
she
we
was
had
just
a
raving
barbecue.
about the potluck stuff.
I think they started barbecuing, like, because
Yeah.
your mom was on our rep day. So after we cut on that final one, it was just like a party. Some people didn't sleep
It,
that night. But yeah, I don't remember. I don't have a specific comfort food. I just eat like whatever's in front of me. I'm not picky about food.
you're a
I
simple
do
man.
drink a lot of like energy drinks though, which is probably pretty terrible for my health. I know that everyone judges me. Like I'm like walking around with like a Red Bull or something. I think people are like, "What the hell is Chris drinking so much energy drinks for?"
He's trying to stay standing through 20 days of production.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of coffee. I got a lot of caffeine. This is a great question. Where's your favorite spot to eat in Hawaii, and what is your favorite dish at that spot?
Oh, so you want to steal where I'm eating?
Yeah, don't don't
Okay,
don't tell the audiences the real places.
they're
Just
gonna
like,
know.
yeah.
Oh, this is tough. Okay, do I tell them the real places or the not real places? Um, okay, what? I'll give you one place. Ray's Cafe in Kalihi. They serve prime rib, but it's like a hole in the wall, and it come like they'll do like rack of lamb, and it's like in the middle of Kalihi, which is just like a really like urban landscape, and you have to call ahead. Everything's in cash, and you're gonna buy like the biggest piece of prime rib. Sorry for those that don't eat meat, but it's just like you're just walking into a hole in the wall, walking out with rack of lamb or prime rib, to go. It's crazy and it's awesome. And that was like my Friday pandemic every once in a while to get me through the last
Nice,
year.
nice. Yeah, I haven't been there. I'll check it out.
Oh yeah, next time you're home for sure, for sure. It's good baby food.
Is it? Okay.
Oh, okay. Now my turn. Um, where is your favorite place to eat in Hawaii, or your favorite dish?
Yeah, that's a hard one. I've been this has been the longest I've been away from home in my life. I like over a year. And so I've been pretty homesick for the past year. So I've been craving all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. Oh, I like started making andagi on my own at home because I've been like craving it. So I like found the recipe on.
This is
So like
a special
andagi,
Okinawan donut for everybody that doesn't know what it
yeah,
is.
it's
It's
like
a
a
deep fried
round
Okinawan
donut.
donut with an incredible texture and flavor.
Yeah, and you buy them at fairs or like wherever like. But I've been craving that, and so I started learning how to make. Well, I was making malasadas at home for a little bit, um,
Yeah.
which is crazy because I've been craving malasadas like crazy. Um, so yeah, I would say those two desserts have been on my mind. What
Okay.
I'm making is fine. It doesn't match to what I would eat if I were actually there.
I get that. I get that. We both have a filmmaker in common. We have both made films with Sarah Kim. So I made a film with Sarah Kim called 9 and 38 that premiered at Tribeca. It was a short film um, about a violinist who was trying to create a concert across the DMZ. And you have made films with Sarah Kim, and you're going to make your next big production, Your Baby, with Sarah Kim. So here's the question. What is it like to work with Sarah Kim?
Was like
For
I mean,
you, for you,
yeah,
because
it's
I
great.
liked it.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, yeah, she's my creative partner. I think on every level, we have to be in sync on the thing. Like she She reads the scripts. She watches every edit. Like when we start editing, we both sit down in front of the monitor and watch all the footage together, and we discuss it on set. When she's not running around, making the movie happen, she's sitting next to me in front of the monitor and giving, like, I'm turning to her and I'm being like, what do you think? So on every level, like creative, logistic, like we're together, and it's as much her film. This film is as much hers as it is mine, for sure. And really, if we're talking like getting the thing made, definitely more her. Like I don't think it happens if she's not producing it. Like it was such a hard film to raise money for. It was really weird. People didn't really, they didn't. A lot of people didn't really see the I guess like the money, like the money in it. And so the fact that we raised the funds to make this film is a miracle, and she's the one who made that happen. So yeah, it doesn't happen without her. It's crazy.
It's so hard, but I get it. I get that why people might not see Simple Man as like, like broadly marketable blockbuster kind of work, but it's so like human and so core in so many ways. It's hard for me to also like not think somebody who has the means to read it and be like, I have been here, I get this, that this is like a piece of life that we're all gonna have to deal with at some point. For the pain and the pretty of it, it's like we're all gonna be there at some point, whether we're experiencing
Yeah.
it firsthand or we're watching it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, it's people loved when they read the script, they would love it. People would connect with it, and we'd have like deep conversations about life and death. But yeah, it was still tough. I mean, it's an art film. It has an old Asian American man as the lead, not like
Hell
the
yeah.
sexiest thing in the world. But it's, I mean, I love how it turned out, and I'm in love with the film. So I'm so grateful to Sarah for really putting everything into it.
I don't know if I could make a movie with my husband. Like, you guys are very unique creatures. Like, not everybody, you can love your partner and not say you can make a movie with them.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you guys are pretty special to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's not all easy. Like we argue a lot. And and we're very different filmmakers as well, because if she's directing something, it's not, she has a much different taste than I do. And so we have divergent tastes, and we argue a lot, but in the end, it's good to have that second pair of eyes on everything, on the writing and everything. Yeah, it's awesome that we both have worked with her.
I hadn't thought of that, actually. So
She's really special.
yeah.
So how do you stay connected to your Hawaiian roots?
That's a good question. I mean, like, it's always been complicated. I think home and being Hawaiian has always been my compass. I think there's something like delicate and precious about being Hawaiian. Like, even if I don't look it, and I am it on the inside, and through my genealogy as well. And I think that knowing how delicate and precious and how fleeting our community can be, it always made that piece of me feel like the one I needed to hold on to the most. Because I'm other things, right? I'm Hawaiian, I'm Chinese, I'm Irish, French, all the things that my father is. And the piece of me I ended up connecting with was being Hawaiian, because so much of growing up was like, oh, there aren't that many of us left, or your people are disappearing, all those things. And you grow up with that responsibility on your shoulders, right? Of what it means to be a Hawaiian and how you carry yourself, and what do you do to support your community, because your community needs you. And I think there were times in my life where I was like, oh, this is too much to be Hawaiian, I'm done. Because sometimes feeling responsibility can feel like a lot sometimes. but I think it's intrinsic to me, and it's hard not to walk away. And when you come home, everybody's Hawaiian, so it's like, my friends, like, it's something I'm proud of. It's hard not to have that be core. In fact, like, even at work now, like, every email at work, I want to sign it like, oh, aloha Ciara, because that's me, right? And then I'm like, oh, is that too much? Like, are people gonna think I'm like pretending? And it's like, if you know me, like, I'm always that's just who I am, right? It's always that. And so even when I like question it, it's like, well, if I don't do that, then that's not me. So you just, the Hawaiian roots go with you. Like, it's hard to let go of, and it's something that you kind of don't ever want to. Even if you move away, it's home for a lot of Hawaiians, whether it's the residential or like the like ethnic, like racial definition of Hawaiian. Like, home, like, for so long will always be Hawaii. Even if you move to New York, even if you move to California, like, even if you move to Idaho, anywhere you go, like, this place, there's something about this place that is an anchor. It is a compass, and there is something special about it, and how we treat each other and how we should treat each other. But you're in California, and you've been away from home for the longest in your life. So how do you stay connected to your roots?
I mean, friends, for sure. Like, community. It's hard, because especially because I'm in my family, I'm the only one that doesn't live in the islands. Like, I'm like the only one on the continent, and so I'll call my mom and my sister will be over or whatever, because like for me, family and home are one. And so I mean, I talk to my mom like every day, and talking to family and friends, music, making bad malasadas.
Oh, wait, next question then. Since you brought up music, what is your favorite karaoke song?
No, this is
do you have a favorite karaoke spot?
But I'm asking you. This is me.
Oh, that's I stole your question, because we should ask each other that. Okay.
So what is sorry. That question to you?
Oh my gosh. Well, Aloha Lounge. My favorite karaoke spot is Aloha Lounge in Kaimuki. It is a dive in the beautiful, bestest of ways. You could show up at 3:00 in the afternoon and take a shot. You could show up at 1:55 and take a shot in the morning. It is a place where you get inspired to know what you can be, like, how much you can still party when you're 80 and how much you can still party when you're 22. People of all faces and shapes show up at that place, and you have people that can sing like angels, and you just wouldn't expect it, and people that look like they would sing like angels and they don't. It's just like every mix of life there, and it's the greatest place in the world. And I don't know what my favorite karaoke song is, because my husband Chris Kwok always picks my songs. I think, have you sung with Chris? Have you sung with my Chris before?
Yeah, I have.
Did he pick songs for you?
Yeah, but I probably didn't sing them. I don't know.
He loves to pick songs for people, so it's like a thing.
Yeah. And I'm also my I get that question too. I don't have a favorite song. Like my favorite song is whatever song gets the entire place singing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if everybody is singing at the same time, then that's my favorite song. Like, I feel like that's like my goal always. It's like, if I go into like a room, I like try to take the temperature of the room, like, what are they vibing? I'm just trying to like get every single person to be singing, even the person who's there who doesn't want to sing, which is usually Sarah. So if I can I don't think I've ever gotten her to sing, but if everybody's singing, that's the goal. I love that.
See, before I really knew you, I knew that you like to sing karaoke, but I was also like, Chris Yogi seems kind of like low key quiet, but he also like in karaoke. I'm like, this guy is interesting. I like it. We need to go sing. Okay. What do you look forward to in 2021? What is next for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's the having a child, and being a parent, which terrifies me, but I'm excited for as well. And yeah, and showing I was a simple man to the world. I hope we reach a point where cinemas open and I can travel with the film and like sit in theaters and talk to people after watching the film in person. That's for me the what I'm trying, like the thing that that I most love about sharing work is connecting with folks in the theater. So I hope that maybe second half of the year I'm able to travel with the film. I mean, play it at home. Like that screening is going to be like is going to be big. Like just in terms of emotional big. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to sharing the film with folks and being a parent. What about you? What are you looking forward to this year?
Looking forward to in 2021. I am looking forward to spending more time with friends and family.
Mm,
Simple, right? I'm
totally.
just simple. Um, I am looking forward to working more. I
Mm,
I'm really grateful for it. I'm working on a project right now, and it's just been, I think the last 6 years, I've really just been working. I have incredible collaborators I've worked with, like including Sarah and Chapin Hall at DP, and just like a Laura Kwok, like just a lot of like really incredible people to help me make work. And I am I'm working, but it's always been like still kind of like a solo kind of endeavor. Like I wasn't working for someone else. It was like me producing, directing at the same time. And I think to be able to work in like a bigger environment with more people is actually super cool. Like I'm really
yeah,
excited to work with more people.
that's
Um,
great.
yeah, and I think this year I want to do the music video. I want to shoot commercials. I like want to get back to writing. There's like all this stuff I want to do, and I'm like, um, it's never too late. I feel like I'm a late bloomer. Does that make sense? Like,
Hmm.
so many people do these things that I want to do that I haven't done when they're like 15, when they're 21, and I'm not that, but I still have things I want to do. And I am, yeah, I'm looking forward to actually giving myself the permission, the time, and finding a way to do it. So, oh, and my first animated film.
Oh
So
yeah,
that, yeah,
that's gonna be awesome.
I'm stoked on that. I think like if I gotta do some script rewrites, but the animator we're working with and the team, like it's called The Queen's Flowers, and I'm just super, if I can get the script just a little bit more dialed in, like I'm super excited for that. So, oh,
Exciting.
I ask you, oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh, if you could, Chris Yogi, if you could describe me in one word, what word would you use?
Um, Generous. I would use generous. Yeah, you're someone who's very generous of spirit, very generous of your sincerity. Um, yeah, I would use generous. Oh, same thing, I guess. What would you one word describe me?
Okay, so was it the Variety article? This is not one word, but the Variety article described August at Akiko as like jazz or like a cool summer breeze. That's right,
Something
right?
like
What
that.
did they say? Who was
Yeah,
it?
something like that. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I
cool
would
summer.
describe you as that. There's
Oh,
like
cool.
it was, I read that, I'm like, oh my God, that's number one, a beautiful description for his film, but also like a beautiful description for Chris.
Oh, thank you. Cool.
Yeah, like you're like a cool summer breeze. You're like a couple chords of like experimental jazz.
Awesome. Well, thank you. This was fun, doing this 21 questions.
That was
Um,
super fun.
yeah, I'm glad we got to chat. It's been a while since we've seen each other in person, but at least we get to do this. But yeah, I hope I get to see you, I don't know, this year sometime.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I miss you guys. So
Yeah, miss you too.
hopefully we'll see you soon. And dude, we made it to Sundance. Congratulations.
Congrats. Have a great virtual Sundance. Don't
Same
get
to
sick.
you.
All
Congratulations.
right. Bye.